We're always being told about Google and Snapchat and social media, how to make money online. But what about basic life skills? What about the things that we need to survive in the world? We're renting out these rooms. We went in to clean his room out, and when we opened the wardrobe, there was how many bottles?
There must have been about 12 or 13.
They were filled with... Are New Zealand leading the way and teaching their future generations how to survive? Or are they just letting all those good skills go to waste? Let's find out.
It's a Drama, coming to you from Taranaki, New Zealand.
Hello.
Daddy, I love him!
Mother thanks you.
Right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello and welcome to the It's a Drama podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Brian.
If you haven't been to our channel before, we're husband and wife. We talk everything New Zealand. We moved to New Zealand 12 years ago. We talk travel, food, wine, just basic
things.
stuff. Yeah, stuff's a good word to describe our channel. And today we've brought you to a park in New Plymouth called Pukekura Park. And we're going to do a walk around and talk about basic life skills that the rest of the world, well, to be honest, like that generation seem to be losing.
Yes.
But New Zealand seem to be keeping hold of. So how many have we got? We've got 7.5 basic life skills that New Zealanders are encouraging their youngsters to keep hold of.
Yep.
So let's take you on a walk and see what they are. So number one life skill that, like I say, people are tending to lose, but here in New Zealand, we're rooting for... No, I can't say rooting. You know, I say root. No, stop.
Well, you can say root, because rooting's not that type of rooting.
We're rooting for you, New Zealand. Basic life skills that seem to still be happening in New Zealand. Number one is basic etiquette. And when I say basic etiquette, I just mean like things that you know you shouldn't do in public, that you just think, oh, that's not really acceptable. You know, like, right? So, for example, if you go to some countries and they're spitting in the street, and there was one time when we went travelling and there was this person sitting next to us literally flossing their teeth next to us on the train. He was like, I'm sorry, no, you should know not to do that. That's not right. Yeah,
there's just some things you just don't do, you know?
Yeah. And New Zealand is one of those countries, in case you haven't been before, that you're not going to find people really doing that, are you, Bri?
No, no, you just don't really see that sort of thing, do you?
No. So can you think of a time that you've been in New Zealand that you've just thought, oh, I don't like that. That's not good etiquette?
Only when you're with some people and they're waking up and things in their throats and things, just lots of tradies and things, and you just think...
tradies, they don't count. They're all animals.
Well, that's it. I know, but it's just like there's some things. You go.
No, but yeah.
That's etiquette though, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it is. You know, it's just teaching basic manners, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would just want to tell you this story. Brian's like, no, don't tell that story. That's just disgusting. But I've got to tell you this because this is just to give you an example. You know how I like to tell stories. Oh, it smells so nice. Can you smell that?
Yeah, it is.
We're in Pukekura Park in New Plymouth, and honestly, it's just spring is just blossoming. Oh, you know, spring is just blooming. Yes. Yeah. And all the trees, all the magnolia trees are just coming out. It looks so, so beautiful, and the smell is just gorgeous. So try not to get out of breath. We're ever so fit, aren't we, Bri?
Yeah, well, we are actually.
You just slow down to a crawl, please. We're going too fast.
Or should we just like do fairy footsteps or something?
No, but literally, I'm going to have a heart attack.
Huh. I've only come up a little tiny slope. Good job we're not in that hill in Wellington or wherever it was.
Okay, just move along quietly then.
All right.
Hello. Hi. So we were renting our house. So we were living in England. This is like going back years ago. What, about 1991?
93, something like that.
93. And we had our first house, and because we needed money, we bought this house at 2 up, 2 down, and because we needed money, we were renting out the rooms. So there was 3 bedrooms upstairs, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was just a typical Victorian terraced house.
Yeah. We were renting out these rooms for like £25 a week or something. We rented it out to this guy, and he seemed really nice. He was a chef in the town of Newquay. Oh, I hope he doesn't listen to this. Oh, anyway, so he was, we've got your number, John Lee. Oh, I shouldn't have said it. Just cut that out. We were renting this room out to him, and he was ever so quiet, and he kept himself to himself. But every night, we could hear this funny noise coming from his room. And it was like, well, you say what noise it was.
Well, it was nail clipping sounds, wasn't it? It was like a click, click, click. You know, the sound of when you're clipping your nails, wasn't it?
Yeah, but constantly,
Yeah.
not just a little bit. Now, granted, you know, we were outside like this. Ooh, what's going on?
But he'd
in
actually
there?
taken my nail clipper out of the bathroom, and it was just like, you know, how many nails have you got?
Yeah, we've only
You
got
know?
10 toenails. What are you doing in there?
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, like, this is before we had kids. We had nothing else to occupy our time except to stand outside lodgers' rooms, nosy Parker in to hear what they were doing. Anyway, so he, like I say, kept himself to himself. He stayed there the whole summer. And then at the end of the summer, Newquay is like a tourist town. At the end of the summer, he went back home. We went in to clean his room out. And when we opened the wardrobe, there was how many bottles?
There must have been about 12 or 13 big Fanta bottles. Or they were actually Tango, which is like Fanta,
Yeah.
like an orange lemonade, not lemonade, no, fizzy drink.
They were filled with wee.
Yes.
Every single one. There must have been about, how many would you say, 50?
No, not 50.
There was.
There was a dozen, 2 dozen maybe max, but
I don't know. But there was a lot, and it filled up the whole of the wardrobe. Full. And we had to take those. Can you imagine? £25 a week we were charging for this. It wasn't worth it. It was
No.
We only made about $500 £500 for the whole summer. That's basic etiquette. You do not rent a room and think,
Yeah.
I know, I'm going to wee in all these Fanta bottles, and then I'm going to stuff it in their wardrobe.
very weird. It was.
is,
It was
isn't it?
unbelievable. It was just like, what the friggin' hell?
What is that?
And not only that, he actually even took a few out that couldn't fit in the wardrobe and put them out by the garage at the back. And the neighbours were saying, oh, we saw a load of bottles outside. What was in them?
I know. And yeah, because where are you supposed to pour that?
Certainly wasn't Tango.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
And you might be thinking, well, how did we know it was wee? But, you know,
It was because
Brian's a plumber. He knows
I
these
know
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be careful because we're going down a little steep path. Right, number 2.
Hang on a minute. Sorry.
Go on, sorry, go on.
Oh, the other one was why we were talking about that. We had someone else staying with us that summer, and he didn't used to use the toilet brush, did he, Liz? So why don't you just elaborate on that
I'm
just
not telling
let us
that story.
and let us know about the toilet
No.
brush? No.
No.
All right. But Liz did pop a little note under his door telling him to use the toilet brush.
Yes, well, why shouldn't I? The fact is, again, that's basic etiquette skills,
Yeah.
isn't it? The other guy who was renting.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Brian said, yes, he made a mess every
That's
time
it.
he went to the bathroom. And it's like,
Don't need them skid marks in the toilet pan.
who do you think is going to clean up after you? Learn it. Anyway, so that's what New Zealanders should be teaching their children.
Anybody should be teaching their children.
Basic etiquette
Yes,
skills.
cleaning.
Right, number 2, how to fix a flat tyre. Do you know how to fix a flat tyre?
Well, obviously, yes.
don't
I grew up, and don't forget, my first car would have been in the late 1970s, and we used to have remolds. So remolds used to blow out quite regularly when you were driving around, especially being a teenager, because that's all I could afford.
Do you think New Zealand mums and dads are teaching their children how to change a tyre, Brian?
I don't think so, no, because they just
Really?
think it's cheaper and easier just to get them on the AA, you know? So if they break down, just call the AA and he'll come out and fix it.
Oh, we're going down a lovely little wooded area now, just full of ferns and green leaves and beautifulness, and it's all like all that little pine needles on the floor, and it just smells so gorgeous. If you've never been to this park, make sure you come.
Yep.
So yeah, changing a tyre. Have we ever had a look? I'm going to be totally honest here, Brian.
Yep.
You think you know everything about everything, and yet you've never ever taken the time to say to me, Liz, let me show you how to change
Do
a
you know
flat
why?
tyre.
Because you just say, every time I say to you, and I don't know what it is, you just say, I don't care. I've never had a flat tyre, I'm never going to have
Have you
one.
taught the children though, Brian?
Yeah, but
Right,
you
that's all we need to know.
You can remember when you were in town and you drove over a raised, it was a pothole around a manhole, and you,
In New Zealand?
yes, and you just absolutely destroyed the tyre on the car and then drove all the way home and wrecked the wheel rim as well.
Yeah.
Remember?
What's your point? What's your point?
But it was a $500 wheel
Yeah.
rim that you destroyed because you didn't pull over and change the tyre.
Because I don't know how to,
There you go.
Brian. You've
So-
never taught me.
Well, it's not for me, it was your dad who should have
My
taught
dad
you.
didn't teach me. He was busy doing other
Doing
things at that time. But what we're trying to say is, don't use me as an example. I think New Zealanders, they do know how to, we're going to talk about this in detail. Oh God, it's gone white out, but I think they do know how to fix things. They've still got that fix your tyre attitude, haven't they, Brian?
Of course they have.
Okay, number 2.5, because this is like a little weenie one that we thought we'd stick in there. Communication skills. Basic communication skills. This is a life skill that you've got to know. Like, you know, you just...
Hey, don't worry. Keep going.
There you go. Basic communication skills. Just coming past you and going, hi. You know, you've just witnessed it in New Zealand. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
You know what? Someone said on the comments, Bri, they're American, and they said, this is so sad. They said, this lady said, I daren't say, well, in America, I don't like, people don't, spit it out, Liz, come on.
God's sake,
Bloody
old
hell.
lady.
Okay, I don't like saying hello to people in case I offend them. They get offended.
In what, as in...
I don't know, that's what she said.
If you're going to, they have to talk back to you mean?
I don't know.
Jeez.
It's just like, in America, you don't want to say hello to people in case you offend them. I don't know.
Yeah.
American people, maybe you could just speak out about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a generalisation. It's where she lives, isn't it?
No, this lady,
I don't know where she lives, but it's,
I must admit, when we were in America, I didn't find that to be the case, did you?
No.
We were always going around saying hello to people.
Yeah, howdy, hello.
So yeah, in New Zealand, I've talked about this before. Go and watch the video I did with Jen from 1,000 Words about raising New Zealand kids. They really promote speaking out as kids. They don't...
Yeah.
They're not afraid to speak out, these kids in New Zealand.
I think that's one of the things that Sonny said once on a podcast, wasn't it? It was when he went to school, he was actually allowed to talk to the teacher.
Yeah.
You know, and not shut up there with your arms folded and be quiet.
No, not at all. They're not,
Yeah.
you know, they're not allowed to speak, but well, yeah, basically they're allowed, they're encouraged is the word I was
Yeah, and
looking for.
they're encouraged to public speak as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, you get up and you talk about what you did at the weekend and things like that,
Yeah.
which, you know, I never did at school. I mean, apart from reading the Lord's
no one
Prayer
wanted to know,
out because I
that's
went to
why,
a
right?
Methodist school, read the Lord's Prayer out once every 6 weeks because it was your turn. That was about it.
You were never at school anyway. You were always at home eating your tomato soup, watching the daytime TV.
Scousers didn't stay at school if they didn't have to.
So yeah, communication skills, just those basic skills of being able to say, hello, you know, how are you today? Just don't lose that. Didn't say hello.
No, they said hello last time.
Number 3, how to clean up and make your bed. A basic life skill that, you know, I hope we're not losing it because we don't want messy
It's true.
houses.
Yeah, I mean, most teenage rooms that you go in are just a bomb site, aren't
Oh
they?
my God!
They
Maybe
really are.
maybe we should do a pan of Sonny and Tessa's room. No way are we letting our
I
kids
know.
lose this skill.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I remember when, and this is a funny thing, I remember when I was 15, 16 years old, and my dad, one night he said, right, I'm going to teach you lazy kids how to wash up properly. And we were all still in the kitchen, me, my brother and my sisters crying our eyes out, oh, we know how to do it, Dad. And he's like, no, you don't. And I'm going to teach you how to do it. And we all had to stand there. I mean, this is a bit excessive. I wouldn't recommend this. But we all had to stand there and watch while he cleans the fork, cleaned the knife, cleaned round the cup. And he's like, this is how you do it. Thinking back now, that poor man must have just been at his wit's end. He probably just thought,
It probably was.
3 lazy little sods living
Yeah.
in Newquay, listening to through people's doors. But yeah, it's just that basic skill, isn't it? Of
Yeah, but if you don't
Tidying up.
teach your kids and you know, if you don't show them those things, they never do it. And then it's too late almost, like, you know, and then it's like they struggle when they leave.
But I tell you
home.
what, Brian, like you said about the car, say
Yep.
that.
What?
I mean, about Tessa and her car, you know? They're like, their rooms are like tips.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's like
Should we go down this way? Or is
no,
it
because
gonna
it's
be
too
bright?
times. Just keep up where we're going. Yeah,
But
it's
they're teenagers, so.
yeah, but the teenagers, but their room, they can let it get a mess, and you know they won't clean up after themselves. But if they buy a car, oh my God, they're out there, they're scrubbing it, they're cleaning it, they're vacuuming it out, they're polishing it out, they're cleaning the windows, and it's just like it's this pristine little place. And you go in there and you say, right, let's go for a drive test, and you do it on purpose. You're like, take a Cadbury's flake with you, and then start to open it. She has a heart attack.
We're going down here? Are you sure? Because it's quite crunchy.
Well, it's nothing else you can do. It's
Brian's
that way to
paranoid
the
about
road,
the crunchy
isn't it?
noise. We
Yeah.
should have put those slipper things on our feet, Brian, you know, like you have to wear in
Yeah,
the
but our
hospital
microphones
sometimes.
are facing upwards, so, you know, we're out having a walk and it's a gravel path, so there's not much you can do, is there?
Number 4, how to survive with electricity. Now,
Without electricity.
Without electricity.
Not with electricity.
is that what I said?
Yeah.
How to survive without electricity. Everyone needs to know that.
Yeah.
Especially if you live in Taranaki like us, and we're always having a
Yeah, we
power cut.
get lots of high winds here and rain, which just like rains for Africa, and it just pours and blows transformers up and takes power down, like, you know.
Do you remember, Brian, when we had that power cut and you were really, really jealous because next door I've got this really...
John.
Brian,
What?
next door I've got this really flash
Yeah.
generator, and Brian's like, oh, there's no need for that. That's far too big. That's excessive.
Yeah, but it
You
makes...
were just jealous.
It does, but it makes the peacefulness of a power cut
No.
into...
No, you were just
The
jealous.
generator's
Brian,
on, yeah. Well, I
'cause
did
you
do
hadn't
that.
thought
I
of
did
that.
do the gas supply to his generator because it runs off LPG.
But
Yeah.
you know, like when you have a power cut, you've got to know, haven't you? You've got to think, right, okay, what can I do? How can I...
Yeah, especially rural, because if you lose power, you lose water as well because your pump goes down. Unless you're running off a tank in the roof or a tank up on the hill, then you know if you're pulling out of a well or a tank or whatever it is, you lose water, so you can't even flush the toilet.
No.
You know?
I love it when I actually love it when there's a power cut because all the internet goes off. So
Yep.
it's just like you get the kids back, you know? It's like, oh, we can actually sit and talk. I'm going to tell you a story in a minute.
Yep.
You can actually sit and talk. And I loved it that time because we've got a wood burner and we lit the wood burner and I got a pan of water and I put it on top of the wood burner. This is me surviving without electricity.
Yep.
And I made us a cup of tea.
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah.
As long as we can have tea, that's fine.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, normally when we get storms and stuff, I normally make sure that, you know, I fill up a big pan and put it on the, you know, on the kitchen worktop, so at least we've got some water.
Yeah.
You know, because you know it's not going to be for more than normally 24 hours, like, you know.
I was just telling you. Oh, go on.
But we
Go
do
on.
have a generator and stuff, but that's
It's not as big as John's.
No.
Yours is
no.
a rubbish generator.
Mine
actually.
You've
failed us as a family.
It struggles to run the pump. It just about runs the fridges and that's it. Do you know what is it when there's a power cut? That you walk into the bathroom and you turn the light on.
I know.
It's like, and you just look at yourself and think, are you thick?
Do you know why I would have loved to live in the days, Bri, when it was candlelight, like in old, you know, like Henry VIII's days? Because everyone just looked so beautiful. You couldn't really see anyone. That's why they all had all those wives,
Yeah,
because
that's
it's
it.
like, I can't see what you really look like, but I
Yeah.
think you're quite pretty.
Yeah.
So it'd be great, wouldn't it?
That's it. They just never see them in the daytime. Just
Yeah.
always look at them at night in candlelight.
Right, here's one
Yeah.
for you, Bri. You're going to really love this one. Number 5, life skill. How to unblock a toilet or unblock a sink.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Do you know how to do that?
Well, obviously, because I you know, I've installed plenty of toilets and things.
But would you say the New Zealanders know how to do that, Bri?
Well,
And have you taught the children it? Well, first of all,
No.
do New Zealanders know how to do it? The people that you've met, do you think they'd be capable of unblocking a toilet?
well, no, because you'd get calls saying the toilet's blocked.
Really?
Yeah, and so you'd have to go out and just, you know, you take your. Do you know the best thing to unblock a toilet is just a string mop? You don't need a fancy plunger because your plunger doesn't really fit.
It's not very nice, though,
It's
is
not.
it?
No, it's not very nice to do. But your fact is, you just give it a damn good plunge with a string mop,
Does that work?
and it just goes flying down. Yeah.
What a fantastic person you are to
There
come
you
on this
go.
channel and tell people how,
How
to
to unblock
the
a toilet.
No,
Yeah.
but Bri, that's
it's
really
a drama,
handy.
you see. That's what it's all about. Life's little dramas.
We talk about New Zealand, travel,
Unblocking
unblocking the toilets.
But your story basically of unblocking, well, when you went to house sit in someone's flash house over in Napier,
Yeah.
let's go for a walk around the...
Will it be too bright?
No, we'll stay on the stage. This is where they do Christmas in the Bowl, isn't it?
Yeah. No, because that's not true, because I don't mean about the Christmas in the bowl bit. That's not true about the house sit in Napier. So basically what it was is me and Tess had gone to house sit in Napier and this was a flash house.
Yep.
It was such a nice couple. It was a lovely house. And if you're watching this, I'm sincerely sorry for what I did. Because we were making eggs and they had a what's that thing called?
Waste disposal.
Waste disposal. And I was making some eggs and I thought, oh, I don't know why I did that, but I was like, I'll just put the eggshells down the waste disposal. Oh, look, here we are.
Yeah, here we are. Like,
So this is the
This-
state.
this-
Oh, look how active it is.
There you go.
We should have just done the whole show in here.
I know. Look at that. This is the. This is the Bowl of Brooklyn. So this
Famous
is-
people have been on
so
here,
this is-
haven't they,
Yeah,
Brian?
Fleetwood Mac and all sorts of people keep turning around, so you can kind of, you know, you can't really see it because it's too bright behind, isn't it? But I'll do a pan round afterwards.
Who else has been? We've seen a lot of. Oh, did we see John Mayer?
No, John Mayer didn't come here, but
Three tenors. No, not three tenors. What are those?
they are, but the
New Zealand version.
Yeah,
I can't remember their name. I'm really sorry because you're fantastic, and I can't remember.
Solomeo or something like that. isn't it?
Solomeo, that's it. Yeah. Oh,
There you go.
absolutely brilliant. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of famous people have been. Joe Cocker was here once, and loads of people.
Yeah.
Big bands at one time used to come to New Plymouth, but not so much anymore. Whitney Houston was supposed to play here.
Oh, I'd love to see Whitney.
Yeah.
I can't now, but yeah,
No,
I would.
obviously
I would. Yeah, but I just had to think then if she's still alive. But yeah,
No.
I would have loved to see Whitney.
No, that's why she never played here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we said earlier, Christmas at the Bowl, they do this big it's just lovely, big concert.
fantastic.
Everyone's here with candles and picnics. It's the best thing happening in New Plymouth at Christmas. You've got to come here.
Yeah.
It's just gorgeous,
It
really
is.
lovely.
Yeah, it's an amazing place. So you can see, I'll show you a pen round. This is the stage that we're in here. You can just about see it there. You can see it, then out to and that's the bowl in the background. There we go.
So yeah, back to the story about Napier. So I was cooking eggs and I put all the waste, the shell things down the incinerator.
Shells don't really float, do they? No.
And it just started overflowing. And the kitchen, they had this gorgeous wooden worktop, and it was really posh. And everything, like one of these kitchens that nothing is out of place. And all of a sudden, all this, it just went, and it just started gurgling up out the sink. I was like, oh my God, no. So I was getting all these tea towels. But, Brian, I
Yes.
went down to the garage.
Yep.
And I found a plunger down
Yep.
there. And I knew what to do. I'm not stupid.
Yep.
I was like, right, this is what you do. But I kept doing it. And it was just getting worse. It was almost like it was sucking it out, Bri.
Yeah.
You know?
But the thing is because you're probably on a double sink and there'd be one U-trap and everything would have been in the U-trap. And so when you plunge it, it just comes out the other sink,
Yeah, and I felt so bad because I had to. Well, first of all, I phoned Brian. What should I do? And he was trying to talk me through it. And he was like, okay, do this, do that. That didn't work. So then I phoned the guy because, he was in Australia. That was it, visiting his sister or something.
Yep.
And I had to send him a message and just say, I'm really sorry, but what should we do? Because we've blocked your sink up. And then he called a plumber out, and a plumber came and fixed it all. And I was talking to the plumber. I was like, how much are you going to charge for this? And he's like, oh, for $150. Oh, no. These poor people have house sat and thought, oh, it's not going to cost us anything to get the dog looked after. And then they come home to that bill. So, but I think general New Zealand people do know how to unblock things and fix things.
Yeah.
When you say people called you out to unblock their toilet, Bri, what sort of people?
Normally in a rental. So because obviously they're not paying for it, the landlord is, and the toilet's blocked. So it's just like, the house is unlivable, isn't it? If you're in what they call it, insanitary. So, you can't keep on living
Would you
there.
ever get an older person call you out and saying, I don't know how to unblock?
Lots of people do.
No, but what I'm saying is it like a younger thing that they don't know how to do it?
No, it's just,
Oh, right.
I think a lot of the time is if it's their own house, they will try and do it themselves, but they get to a point, it's mainly like workplaces. I remember having to go into a lawyer's because they had a blocked toilet. And
they might know how to get you out of a sticky situation in the law, but they don't know about a string mop, do they, Bri?
No, they don't.
Silly them. That's what
And
I
that's
say.
what I did. It was in like a cleaner's cupboard, and I just saw the big mop there in the corner. I just went straight in, bump, big quick plunge, 20 seconds, it was away and gone. You wash it out, and charge them $200. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, should we go
Where
over
there's
there,
muck, there's brass.
Yeah.
No, keep going through here
Keep going
because
this
it'll be
way.
too bright.
All right, then, Brian, number 6. This is a funny one. Well, not funny, but,
Yep.
as in weird. Basic backing up files.
I didn't really look at that as a lost way of doing things. It's a bit of a funny one, isn't it? I suppose because I've always been into computers and things like that for a long time, for sort of the last 30 years. It just becomes natural. But I suppose if I was to say to Tessa, back up all those files that you've used for school, she'd just look at me in a funny way, wouldn't she?
Do you know how to? So you know how to back up files, but hand on heart, Bri. Should we go through that nice broken sun
No, because we've been down that bit. And
well, it's nicer. Hand on heart. Sorry, Barry, if my shirt's not quite right, but I hope
Barry, who's Barry?
Barry said that it was driving him mad the last walk because my shirt was all crooked. So I just got a glimpse of the picture in my... Anyway, so backing up files, I wouldn't know how to do that, but it's important that you do. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it is if they're important stuff because, again, like YouTube files and things like that. So where are we going now?
Going up there?
Well, we've been up there.
All right, well, you choose then. Everywhere I'm saying, you're like, no, we've been up there, so you choose.
Well, let's go down the road down that way, because that takes us
look,
down.
we're going in the way that you wanted to go.
There we go, you see?
See, you all think
Yeah.
I'm bossy and this,
That's
Liz, where's the pants? No. At the end of the day,
Yep, I'm the one holding the camera.
at the end of the day, we have to do what Bri wants to do. Just don't ever forget that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so backing up files. Yeah, no, what I'm saying about this is I think it's important that we teach the coming generation. I mean, I know we're the younger generation at the moment, like, you know, obviously, because we're still young.
That's it, yeah.
But those little whippersnappers coming up should know how to, everyone really should know how to back up files, shouldn't they,
Well,
Brian?
they should. And a lot of people just think, I don't even know what you're talking about, you know, because it's like, well, what am I backing up? And what do you back it up to? It's all those sort of things, isn't it? Like, you know, do you back it up to a hard drive, or do you back it up to the cloud, or where'd you back these things up?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing.
What?
Do you know what really impresses me? Like with your dad, for instance, he's 80 odd.
Yep.
And he can work that computer and all that
he
stuff
can,
like a whiz.
That's because I taught him how to do it, which is weird, isn't
Well,
it?
why haven't you taught the kids then?
Well,
why
do you
haven't
know
you
what?
taught me how to back up my files?
Because it was something I did. I showed him the correct file system to use for when he's doing his photo editing and video editing. And he just said, oh my goodness, makes it so much easier. And how you back it up and how you just structure it. So, and all those things, isn't
I
it?
think it's really important as well for our generation and upwards to just keep learning those new skills where it comes to technology, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You know, because otherwise you do feel like you're getting left behind, and there's nothing worse than having to ask the kids. I was really proud of someone the other day, you know. I'm not going to mention his name, but he joined our private New Zealand. We've got a membership group for people who are moving to New Zealand and they want to, you know, just how you've heard us talk about that before. They want to know what it's like. And it's basically a little community that we've created, like-minded people. And one guy, he's nearly 80 and he's a Kiwi and he's living in America and he wants to come back to New Zealand. And I think he's been living in America for, I don't know, something like 50 years or something like that. He's been there a long, long time. And he contacted me and said, look, you know, I'd like to join your group, but I don't know anything about social media. I'm not on it. And I was thinking, oh no, you know, I really want to help you, but without knowing that stuff, it's going to be difficult. Yeah. Because it's too hard to keep communicating through email. No one does that now, do they?
No, they don't.
And so I emailed him and I said, look, you know, Brian will Zoom call you. I didn't tell you this, by the way. I said, Brian will Zoom call you and walk you through it. Yeah, but you would have done, wouldn't you?
I would have done, yes. Yeah.
And then the next day he was on the group, he was on the Slack chat.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I was so proud. And I was just like, yes, you know, you figured it out or you've got someone to show you.
Yeah, we did do a little video for that, didn't we? But it's so much easier when someone just walks you through it, isn't it? And it's so much easier when you can just show someone on a phone or on a computer and not over the phone. Like,
and it's one of those things with technology. I know we're veering off topic here, but it's one of those things with technology. It seems so scary and it seems so... But like that with backing up files, I just think, because you do all that stuff. But actually, when you've done it, it's like, what's I worried about? Yeah, but should you stand on this lovely bridge, Brian?
Again, because it saves it all for you, you know?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I was really conscious of our last walk. I thought, oh, Liz, you keep interrupting. Naughty Liz. Yes. Stop interrupting Brian.
It's about etiquette, I think.
Take the pants off and give them back to Brian, Liz. Right, we staying here?
I don't know.
I just like it because look at the light. It's just lovely. And we're on this gorgeous bridge. This is like a very popular place to have your photo taken in New Plymouth. If you can listen to how quiet it is as well.
I know, it's gorgeous, isn't it?
In the middle of the city. It's just so beautiful. It's just such a
apart from the old car,
gorgeous
but
park.
you hear all the birds. You can hear the tuies in the background, can't you?
Yeah, it's just really nice. Number 7 of a life skill that really stands out in New Zealand in particular that I don't think people should lose is basic sewing and fixing skills.
Yeah, which is true because, you know, people are in a... We'll move over to this lady come by. We're in a society that basically doesn't really fix things. How are you doing there? And, you know, if you've got a hole in your socks or your T-shirt, you just throw them away. And that's the end of them, isn't it? Like, you know, you just don't bother fixing things because it's a disposable society. And, you know, that's what you find with New Zealand, that they still fix things. Like, you know,
they do.
And
they
it's
do.
like they want to get the most out of it because it's cost them a lot of money to buy these things, you know. And even if it's a $20 T-shirt and you've got a tiny hole in it, and what will it look like? Yeah, but you can use it for a work shirt and sew it up and stuff like that. You know, whatever it is that you're, you know, doing, like, you know.
Yeah. But in saying that, and this is what I wanted to talk about, is in New Zealand, and I'm not saying that, oh, New Zealand, you know, is the only country in the world that does this stuff, but because we live in New Zealand, we're sort of like giving you our, you know, a view of it.
Yeah, but you notice it more in a country like this, especially fixing things, but just sewing things. Yeah.
Well, what I was going to say is
it's being lost, isn't it?
Well,
Even here,
no, I don't think it's been lost here. What I notice is it's now fashionable they turn up at these, like Tessa, she's 17, and they turn up at, like, she's in a show and she's sitting at rehearsals doing her knitting. Like, you know, it's fashionable to knit a scarf again and, like, fix secondhand clothes and get into all that. What's the word? There's a name for it, isn't there? Not retro. What is it when they use... You know, like, vintage. You know, like when they get old clothes and make it look, you know, they're like, oh, have you seen this leather jacket? And I was like, yes, actually, we had one of those in the 1980s. So, yeah, get it off. But, yeah, so I just think, no,
I'm fixing things, you know, like I've said before, things, you know, like, say you've got a flash car and it's got this super duper exhaust system on it. You know, I can take it down to the local exhaust guy, it's Taranaki Tire Talk, Craig, and he'll bend you up a new piece of exhaust, you know, and put a different box on it or something like that. But those skills are lost. You know, in all the time I lived in England, you know, you had to order a piece of exhaust and it would take, you know, a week to get to down in Cornwall, and then they would fit it for you. So he'd fit it on the day, you know.
Yeah, but Bri, I'm going to stick up for England now, because when we were travelling...
How you doing?
Hello. When we were travelling and we went down to Cornwall, and we've told you the story before, we bought a Range Rover. It was a pile of junk, and we needed something fixing on it. And we went to that guy, do you remember, in the car park in Newquay?
Oh, yeah.
No, in St Morgan.
Yeah.
And he was at the back of his house in a car park, and he was so nice. And we were like, oh, you know, he was like looking at the Range Rover, and he's like, oh, you know, you could... And we said, oh, it needs fixing. And he said, oh, bring it to me, I'll do it. He was so nice.
Yeah,
so
that's
great. An example.
Yeah,
he did that.
It was what it was is it was on the front.
Hello.
How you doing? It was on the front disc brake of the car. The shield had rusted off or something on it.
Yeah.
And you know, he took the wheel off, took the hub off.
Yeah,
and you
he
know,
did.
everything off, and you know, took the disc off it and things like that. The rotor, as you call it here, and you know, just fitted the thing back on with a couple of washers and a couple of new screws.
So I just wanted to stick up for Cornwall there.
Yeah, but that was, you know, and what did he charge? 20 quid or something. He
was
didn't even
so
want to charge it. It was
cheap.
just so nice, you know. It was great to see. You know, that was great to see that sort of. That's what New Zealand is like, though.
It is.
It's like that part of Cornwall. You know, when people say to me, "Oh, it's different," it's like, well, in Cornwall, you felt a bit cut off at times because, you know, the delivery systems weren't great, so you ended up fixing things.
Yeah.
That's what you did. Like,
and
you know?
I think that's what New Zealand is on a whole, isn't it? Like the
They were
whole
waiting for the
sort
ship
of...
to come in, weren't they? You know, with all the spare parts. So let's make our own parts, like, you know, and things like that. Yeah. You know, it's like the Crocs tool in plumbing.
Anyway, so that's that then, isn't it, Brian?
Yeah, we won't get talking about plumbing again.
We talk about travel, we talk about New Zealand, we talk about plumbing.
Just do a plumbing channel.
Okay, so we hope you've enjoyed your walk in Pukekura Park in Taranaki, New Plymouth. Like I say, if you've never been here before, come look at it. I'm looking at it in the phone, and I'm looking, and that looks
like Jurassic Park.
It looks like something out of Jurassic Park, doesn't it?
Yeah. Because these are all the
tree ferns and the pungas.
The pungas, yeah. No, they're just amazing. You see them up here in the background.
Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous. Right, we're going to go now because time to go. Hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah, might have been a bit of a ramble, but I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah.
And don't say what you normally say about being dead if they don't subscribe. That's a good one.
Don't forget, if you don't subscribe, we won't be here anymore because we'll just fall off YouTube, and that's it.
Just fall off this red bridge, never to be seen again. Okay, take care. We'll see you next time.
Kia kaha, stay strong. Don't forget to subscribe. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello.
Daddy, I love him.
Mother thanks you.
Right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.